So let's start with this. Okay, Tom Brady's great. We'll talk about that later. But if there's a couple of things in the NFL that are true. They're not great talking points. They're not really fascinating. They're not that interesting. But there's a reason you need to run the football in the NFL. You can have a great coach. Bills do. Great young coach. You can have a great quarterback. You can have great weapons. You can have a top 10 defense. Buffalo's got all of them. But there's a reason a running game is important. First of all, it makes you hard to figure out situationally. 3rd and 3, a rundown or a pass down. You keep the defense on their heels. Secondly, you don't want your quarterback throwing 50 times a game. They don't last in this league. Third, a great run game complements a pass game. The opposite isn't always true. Also, run games wear down opponents. New England always feels like they're the fresher team in the fourth quarter, right? Buffalo doesn't have a run game. And so, despite the coach, despite the quarterback, despite the defense, despite the roster, despite the weapons, Tampa unveiled the most disrespectful defensive game plan I've ever seen. They blitzed on virtually every down. And blitzing says something. If I'm blitzing you, I'm saying I'm willing to leave myself completely outnumbered and vulnerable on the back end, but that I have so little respect for how your quarterback can process things quickly. I have so little respect for your physicality and your offensive line that I'm going to play a numbers game that leaves me incredibly vulnerable, and it won't matter. I mean, Tampa just said, we're going to blitz on every down. We're going to blitz corners. We're going to blitz safeties. We're going to have nobody deep to cover. And you have Stephon Diggs. You've got good players. And you have the strongest armed quarterback arguably in the league. And we don't care. That is why running games matter. You're not a Super Bowl team if you can't run. I mean, Tampa basically just said, we don't even care. We don't think your quarterback can figure it out. We don't think your offensive line can block us. That was as disrespectful a game plan as you're going to see. You don't have to be great running the football. You really don't. But you got to keep people guessing. I mean, think about this. Josh Allen, at one point, if you looked at the numbers, Josh Allen was not only their leading running back, he was their only running back. And Tampa figured it out. You know, we thought a week ago, it's just the weather. And then you watch this game, and remember, film how a team plays tells you what they practiced all week. So basically, Tampa all week looked at that Buffalo-New England film and said, it's not really the weather. They're incompetent of blocking us. They can't block us. They have no chance to block us. Josh Allen won't be able to quickly figure it out and process it. And we don't respect any of their run game. Josh Allen even acknowledged the first half he was absolutely lost. This league is so well coached. You don't have to be great at everything. You can't be terrible at anything because the coaching is so good. It's so good that people will attack it. People will just sense it and feel it and attack it, and Buffalo has been exposed. As much as it hurt my wallet yesterday, as much as Buffalo has disappointed me, you have to run the football for a million reasons. It complements the pass game. It keeps your quarterback safer. It makes you more viable situationally. Everybody figured them out. There's their kryptonite. They can't run the ball. Everybody should take that game plan that Tampa used, which was just disrespectful, and use it this point forward. All right, the Cowboys won. Here's the thing about the quarterback play that's crazy in this league. Expectations are so much a part of it. We mostly know, like Rodgers and Tom Brady are the quarterback masters. I mean, they got this thing figured out before they get to the line. And then we mostly know that, like, Mahomes and Herbert and Kyler Murray are just, like, ridiculous talents. Like, we know Dak's not that. What's concerning is when I watch Jimmy Garoppolo and Joe Burrow and Baker Mayfield yesterday, and they're better than Dak. But you have to be honest about Dak. We've always said the intangibles are better than the tangibles. But if you look at Dak's 6-year career, the Cowboys have been at their best his rookie year when they were led by Zeke, and this year when they're led by the defense. I used to call it Dak and dunk. They don't throw the ball down the field. Has that reemerged because they don't throw it down the field anymore, or did it ever really change? The difference between Dak now Now he's got the bag, and early Dak is expectations. We kept waiting for, okay, he's talented, but he's gonna keep going up and up and up, like Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray's first year, you're like, whoo-hoo. And then the second year, he makes fewer mistakes. And the third year, he completes 73%. Like Kyler Murray's taking these leaps and these leaps and these leaps. And Dak really isn't. So you were expecting, I was expecting, people were expecting the move up. We've seen it with Justin Herbert. First year, he could be a little overwhelmed, some bad picks. And then all of a sudden, he's eliminated the bad picks. He's got better protection. You're all looking for next level. Dak reached his peak probably end of year second. He's a mature kid. He came in like a Mac Jones. He's very mature. He does what he does well. He's never been an elite arm talent. We don't think of him as hyper athletic. Intangibles, leadership, toughness, voice at the podium, do the simple stuff, team on his back. Come on, guys. But in the end, the expectations screw this stuff up. And if you have a quarterback that's good, pretty good, and not special, you start pointing fingers. And now in Dallas, they're blaming Kellen Moore. I thought you guys loved Kellen Moore. An hour ago, Kellen Moore was great. Now Kellen Moore's no good. It's like in Miami with Tua. When Tua struggled, after about week 5, I go online, it's like Chris Greer's a bum. He needs to be fired as GM. Brian Flores is overrated. You got to blow this thing up and start all over. And then Tua does what Tua does, which is complete passes, doesn't turn it over. And now everybody's like, Brian Flores probably deserves some thought for coach of the year. I like what they're doing down in Miami. They've really got a game plan in Miami. No, the expectations for Tua were out of whack. Tua, Mac Jones, Teddy Bridgewater. They're the cardboard box industry. Because of Amazon, it's exploding. It's not real, a lot of sex appeal. It's not super techy. But in the end, Tua, Mac Jones, Teddy Bridgewater, the minute you get your expectations beyond what they are, that's your fault. Miami can win with Tua a certain way, and Dallas can win with Dak a certain way, and that certain way is he's not leading them. Early it was Zeke, now it's the defensive front, which is fantastic. Randy Gregory, Micah Parsons, DeMarco Lawrence. It's fantastic. Their defensive front is out of this world athletic, like playmakers everywhere. And this is not a shot at Dak. It's a shot at people who screw up expectations. Dak can't be the soul of your team. He can be a leader. He can be a voice. He can be instrumental. But the best Cowboys in his stay were the early Cowboys led by Zeke and Cowboys today led by the defensive front. Just come to terms with that. Once you screw up the expectations, now you start pointing fingers at everybody else. You know who's not pointing fingers? Anybody in Kansas City, because they got Mahomes. You know who's not pointing fingers? Tampa. They got Brady. Green Bay, they got Aaron. Arizona, they got Kyler. Chargers, they got their guy. But the expectations are realistic. I just think what Dak is and what you're expecting him to be is all messed up. I mean, there's a reason when he was winning early, we called it Dak and dunk. He doesn't throw the ball down the field a ton, and they've got good weapons. I don't want to hear that Gallup or CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper aren't good enough. They're excellent. That's an excellent top 5 receiving core. You got a deep threat. You got the tactician. You got the young guy who can make plays. You got a little bit of everything. It's just all the expectations on the Cowboys. Dak's pretty good, and the Cowboys once again are pretty good. The Chargers are winning because of Justin Herbert. And Green Bay is winning because of Aaron Rodgers. And when Baltimore was winning, it was because of Lamar Jackson. When the Cowboys win early, it's Dak, or it's Zeke, and the Cowboys winning now, it's the defensive front. It's a wake-up call. Just a wake-up call to what Dak is. He's good, pretty good. And if your quarterback's pretty good, and your team is pretty good. And that's all Dallas is. Just take a deep breath. You're not going to be Green Bay. You're not going to be Kansas City. And you're not going to be Arizona. You're not going to be that. That's not what you are. That's when people get in trouble. That's when people in this league get fired. It's not when you're average. Mike Zimmer has lasted a long time not winning big games with Kirk Cousins because you all have come to terms with what Kirk is. And so Mike Zimmer now's in trouble, but he's been there for years. Yesterday, it's like Kellen Moore and wide receivers, and I don't like the play calling. Not doing that with the Chargers. They're not doing that with Green Bay. They're not doing that with Arizona, and they're not doing that with Tampa or Kansas City. because you got the right guy and right expectations. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.